I'm Aaron Porras, and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. Coming up in today's newscast, shocking new images are released of a suspected Iranian military base just north of Israel's border. The Lebanese and Saudi Arabian governments get closer and closer to each other's throats, and Gal Gadot becomes a real Wonder Woman in the fight against sexual harassment. Stay tuned for the latest news in Israel. A new Iranian military base has just been confirmed in Syria, roughly 40 miles from Israel's northern border. Satellite images acquired by the BBC from Western intelligence agencies have revealed at least 3 confirmed structures, with more well on the way. All concrete proof of Iran's commitment to establish permanent strongholds throughout the region. This isn't the first Iranian military site discovered in Syria, of course, and most agree that it certainly won't be the last. Israel has detected and possibly even targeted several Iranian strongholds in Syria over the last year, including what's believed to have been a chemical weapons plant and rocket storage facility for both Iran and Hezbollah. As if tensions on the border weren't bad enough, IDF missiles also just shot down an unmanned Syrian drone that attempted to breach Israeli airspace. Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman reasserted Israel's position that it would always fire back when fired upon, promising that, quote, "The Syrian regime is responsible for every attack and violation of our sovereignty, and we will not allow the Shiite axis to be established in Syria as a base for action," end quote. While tensions between Israel and Syria are nothing new, the surprising situation between Lebanon and Saudi Arabia is threatening to explode into an all-out war. About a week after Lebanese Prime Minister Saad Hariri resigned, accusing Hezbollah and Iran of seizing control of his parliament, the Saudi government is suddenly ordering all Saudi citizens to get out of Lebanon immediately. These are the kinds of words you typically hear before war is declared, a proclamation that, according to Hezbollah, the Saudis have already made. But Iran is actually seen as the major player behind the scenes of this conflict as well. Saudi Arabia and Iran are fierce enemies, and Iran's relationship with Hezbollah in Lebanon has been skyrocketing in recent years. If a war were to break out, it would almost certainly be Iran's proxy war against the Saudi empire. But one major factor in all of this still remains unclear: the true nature of Hariri's resignation from the Lebanese government. The Prime Minister made his announcement while abroad in Saudi Arabia, which at first was seen as a move of desperation to survive possible assassination at the hands of Hezbollah. But now the Lebanese government is claiming Hariri is actually being held captive in Saudi Arabia, and that his resignation was made under duress. This is a mystery that will definitely need to be cleared up soon, especially if the world hopes to escape another horrific Middle East war.
This is a matter of great concern to us. And what we want is for peace to be preserved in Lebanon. It is essential that no new conflict erupts in the region. It could have devastating consequences.
With all the talk of war flying over the wire, cyber threats are sure to follow close behind. Well, joining me now is the co-founder and CEO of Cynet, Gal Gadot, to tell us all about Cynet's multi-level solutions to electronic security. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so my first question is, what is Cynet? What does it do?
So Cynet is a security platform that provides multi-layer of security to the internal network. So today, if a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, or an IT manager want to protect his internal network, he need to buy 7, 8 different solutions from different vendors, and he need to implement and to install this solution and to maintenance this solution. With our solution, he can buy all of this solution in one platform that provide security solution for the internal network.
Is that what you mean by multi-level?
Yeah.
So the fact that it kind of...
Yeah. So if today the IT manager or the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, he need to buy 8 solutions, and he need to correlate this solution and to maintenance it and to see one picture in one GUI. And it's very difficult for him because he need to aggregate all these logs to a centralized location. And then you need to tune the system and to tune this alert. And he flood with a lot of alert. With Cynet solution, you get one solution, one platform that collect all of this information. And you can see the CISO or the IT manager can see the alert in one location. He can see the full story of the attack, and he can maintenance only one solution with one vendor. We also have 24/7 SOC, that expert team that helping to our customer to maintain the solution.
So, okay, so who is this intended for? Is this for private companies, or is this also maybe for use of governments or you know, other entities like that, public entities?
So today we have almost 80 different customers worldwide. Mm-hmm. It can be a private company, it can be a government. So we have a government, healthcare, a financial institution. We have all of kind of customers. Mm-hmm. If you are a small organization, let's say with 1,000 endpoints, it's impossible for you to buy all of these solutions and to correlate them. But if you buy Signet, in 2 hours we can install our solution and protect the internal network from different threat. So everybody today focusing on a specific area.
Sure.
So we are protecting the users, the endpoint. We are putting deception in the network and also the network. Wow. And we also have a response, so we can automated the SOC, the Security Operations Center, and automated their process.
So really, you developed this software to work for everybody and everything and everyone.
Yeah, it's for all the organization. It's for all the enterprise. It's
all
not for individual.
For every step of the way, and protects everything.
Yeah, but it's not for today. It's not for individual. It's only for a SME or mid-market or the enterprise. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, and then my final question, because unfortunately we're running out of time, is where and when will it be available? If it's already available, then
it's already available.
Right, as you said,
we have 80 customers, so you can go to our website signet.com and you can send an email to us, and we will approach you and install it in 2 hours and protect your internal network.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Gal Gadot.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Now, in a rare move, the Israeli army has just posted a video to social media directly addressing the Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Gaza, warning them not to launch an attack against the State of Israel. We're aware of the plot that Palestinian Islamic Jihad is concocting, says Major General Yoav Mordechai in Arabic, who then goes on to promise a swift and immediate response to any and all acts of violence.
إسرائيل فجرت نفق إرهابي قبل أسبوعين بالمنطقة تحت سيادة إسرائيلية داخل أراضي إسرائيل. نحن نعي المؤامرة اللي تخطط الجهاد الإسلامي الفلسطيني ضد دولة إسرائيل. يلعب الجهاد بالنار على حساب السكان غزة جميعهم، على حساب المصالحة الفلسطينية والمنطقة كلها. من الأفضل أن يكون واضحا أي رد فعل يقوم فيه الجهاد ستقوم إسرائيل بردة فعل قوي وحازم بالمقابل، وليس فقط ضد الجهاد إنما ضد الحماس أيضا. ننصح القيادة تبع الجهاد الإسلامي في دمشق الحذر والسيطرة ضرورية على الأمور. قيادة الجهاد الإسلامي في دمشق وقائدة المنظمة رمضان شالح وزياد نحالة لازم تاخدوا أمور بالإيدكم، فأنتم اللي بتحملوا المسؤولية.
These words come a few weeks after Israel destroyed a terror tunnel in Gaza that breached Israeli soil, killing at least 14 members of the local Islamic Jihad group. The group promised swift retaliation along with Hamas threats of violence, acts that have so far yet to be carried out. One major reason for this may be due to the ongoing Palestinian reconciliation talks. Both Hamas and the Palestinian Authority know that engaging Israel in war would undoubtedly send the unity talks crashing down. But as the IDF's video has confirmed, Israel is clearly aware of a revenge attack being planned. The Major General's words clearly reflect the growing Israeli anxiety about those unity talks as well, with many wondering if a newly minted Palestinian unity government will truly end terrorism or merely find new ways of sponsoring it. The Jewish law surrounding divorce here in Israel, which states that a man must willingly agree in order for a divorce to be valid, has stirred controversy in the past, but perhaps no case has been more tragic than the one you're about to hear. When a rabbinical court required an Israeli woman to drop rape charges against her husband in exchange for allowing her to divorce him. The divorce was arranged by the Jerusalem Rabbinical Court, which referred to the woman's accusations of rape, violence, and abuse from her husband only as, quote, events of the past. The divorce deal further required the woman's agreement not to file any reports regarding these claims to the police in the future. It was only under these conditions that the Rabbinical Court would agree to certify and allow the divorce, which was filed earlier this year. The woman has already repeatedly made allegations against her husband, however, of being violent both towards her and her children throughout the marriage. Allegations that both her husband and the Rabbinical Authority deemed to be lacking evidence. Now, the Mavoi Satum divorce rights organizations believes the court's condition for granting the divorce in the first place clearly reflects extortion and interference with police procedure, and has taken up the case with the Israeli Attorney General. And while this particular fight has just gotten started, right now there are thousands of other cases in Israel of women who have been continuously denied a divorce as well. Now, the Red Cross provides humanitarian aid and money for disaster relief all over the world, but now they've pledged new money to a cause that's bound to ignite some controversy. We've just learned the Red Cross has signed a deal with the Palestinian Authority to help cover costs for families visiting Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. ALTV's Brett Allen Smith is here with the latest on this. And Brett, this seems to me, at least, like an unusually political agenda for the Red Cross, isn't it?
Well, on the surface, sure. I mean, typically we associate the Red Cross with natural disaster relief and blood drives. So, yeah, it seems a little strange for them to be signing paperwork with the PA in what would some argue is a political issue. But what happened was, earlier this year, the Red Cross was overseeing negotiations between the PA and the most recent Palestinian prisoner hunger strike. And one of the biggest issues in that strike was that the prisoners wanted 2 monthly visits from their families instead of 1. But since the prisons are in Israel and their families are in the West Bank, the cost of these visits is not just expensive, but it's incredibly complicated.
All right, but what I want to understand is something that I think confuses a lot of people here as well, is it Israel's responsibility to make those visits available then, or is it totally up to the families? I mean, why is a third party like the Red Cross stepping in at all here? Sure.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a complicated answer that's up for a lot of debate. But let me put it this way. So Israeli prisons and prisoners by law are open to scheduled visits from family members at a totally regular interval. But what makes this tricky is that the prisons themselves are located in Israel, while most of the prisoners' families are in the West Bank. And as we know, of course, movement in and out of the West Bank is a complicated and time-consuming affair for Palestinians, especially for many of these families who are related to heavily convicted terrorists. So that's just kind of how the Red Cross justifies stepping into a situation like this, and why it's definitely going to ignite some controversy, as you'll see now in the report. Earlier this year, over 1,000 Palestinian prisoners convicted of terror against the State of Israel conducted a massive 40-day hunger strike. While some of their demands did include better conditions in their Israeli jails, it turns out that the biggest ultimatums of all were directed right at the Palestinian Authority to up the number of monthly family visits from 1 to 2. This was a promise that PA made to prisoners to end the strike earlier this year, a request that would cost about $6 million to pull off. Now, the International Committee of the Red Cross has just agreed to help cover that figure and even provide additional training to PA personnel to oversee the visits. But the move is sure to incite intense controversy, considering some of these prisoners are serving back-to-back life sentences for heinous, brutal murders of Israeli citizens, making their families a personal security threat in Israel as well. Though Israeli prisons are bound by law to allow pre-scheduled visits, the difficult and often complicated permit process for Palestinians to leave the West Bank has deterred many in the past. In fact, the Red Cross actually decreased the visits from twice to once a month in the first place because families were unwilling to go twice. But needless to say, the Red Cross's money is certainly speaking volumes right now.
Now, when Jewish kids have their bar or bat mitzvah, it's pretty customary for them to make donations to charitable organizations. And as part of the celebration, that way other people can celebrate with us. Well, my next guest took that idea and went way further, personally changing the lives of over 1,000 people in Uganda. Joining me now to tell his story is the amazing Eitan Kramer. Thank you very much for coming in. Yeah, you deserve it. You should go ahead. You deserve it. So my first question to you, your bar mitzvah, what was your Torah portion? Did it have anything to do with this? That was my first question, because this happened for your bar mitzvah, did it not?
Yeah, just came up with it. I don't know, for bar mitzvah we do special stuff, and I thought, well, this could be a special stuff to do. And also, bar mitzvah is turning into a man and taking responsibility on yourself. So when you take responsibility to give electricity to help other people, it shows you the way how to turn into a man. So.
All right, so first of all, I just want to comment that you are way more adult than I was at your age already. But okay, so you've decided then in the end to go with Innovation Africa, which is, you want to tell me a little bit about them and kind of why you went with
Innovation Africa is an Israeli organization which brings solar technologies to African villages who don't have water or electricity. I just want to say it's amazing there. Like,
yeah, in Uganda? Yeah, I mean, I can see here that
also
you went...
Innovation Africa is crazy.
Innovation Africa.
Like, it's crazy, like, how you come up with an idea like that, to just help other people from a different country even, is just, like, amazing.
All right, so, I mean, okay, so you raised $18,000 for electricity and water at the Bukhilika Primary School. Did I say that right?
Bukalika, yeah.
Bukalika, oh, okay, so you're better at pronunciation too, that's good. You know, so, okay, you know, what made you choose Innovation Africa? Why that? Just because this was something that you saw was a real deficit?
So, first of all, it was my mother, who, when we lived in Modin, she knew Sivan a little bit, and Sivan was the founder of Innovation Africa. And then when we came to Iran and we were thinking of a bar mitzvah project to do, then my mom got reminded about it, and we wanted to talk with them. And then, like, we thought it's a really special thing. Like, it will be hard, and like it could be amazing to do for a bar mitzvah project, and just like do it. Like, there wasn't any other organization we found that could be so interesting that other kids don't do. And also, I thought, like, also to be the first boy from Israel to do it would be pretty cool, so...
I would say so. So, I mean, okay, so you ended up going to Uganda. How was that trip?
It's incredible there, and it's a pretty funny country because, like, you could see a lot of poverty there, like, too much of it, but then people, like, walk everywhere. Like, you could see they will walk 20 miles a day just to get water. And then they're so happy. Like, somehow, like, they're always happy there.
Yeah, it's about your perception, right?
Yeah.
You know, not exactly what you have, but how you look at what you have.
Yeah.
Right? All right, well, in that case, I'm going to give you the final word here because, unfortunately, we're running out of time. I'd love to keep you longer. But, you know, what is a message that you would have for other young people your age?
So, do stuff like this. Like, think about the rest of the world. Like, also travel. Like, it's a fun idea to do. And I hope I encouraged everyone to just do it and do more helpful stuff to the world.
All right, Eitan Kramer, you are my hero. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
All right, now moving on. Actress and filmmaker Natalie Portman has just been awarded the 2018 Genesis Prize, an honor called the Jewish Nobel by Time magazine. The Oscar winner, who was born here in Israel before moving to the United States and achieving global fame, has been praised for her being a role model for millions of young Jews around the world. Portman joins fellow Genesis Prize laureates including Michael Bloomberg, Michael Douglas, and Yitzhak Perlman as a beacon of contemporary Jewish voices. While Portman's Hollywood career launched her into the global spotlight at an early age, her social activism in gender equality, animal rights, and fighting poverty and raising awareness for Israel have made her an important social icon as well. In 2015, she even directed A Tale of Love and Darkness, adapted from Israeli author Amos Oz's book, which was performed all in Hebrew. After learning she'd received the prestigious honor, Portman said she felt deeply touched, adding that, quote, "I am proud of my Jewish roots and my Jewish heritage. They are crucial parts of who I am," end quote. If you've ever operated a machine with more than 4 moving parts, you know that if some sort of bug pops up, it can be a very time-consuming and expensive ordeal to figure out what the bug is, let alone how to fix it. Well, what if you could just hear the problem? My next guest is Asaf Eldad, the Vice President of Business Development at 3D Signals, and he tells me that's exactly what you'll soon be able to do. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about 3D Signals. How does that work? What does that do?
So basically what we do, we listen to machines. Believe it or not, but about 90% of the machines in the world are just not connected. Be it it's either too old or just too expensive to connect them. So you end up with factories that only 10% of them are monitored. And we found that sound is something that every machine makes. If you can process it, you can get the data right, you can actually predict failures. So that's the essence of our company.
Okay, so how did you come up with that idea? I mean, it was just you were sitting one day and thinking, wow, that's broken, it sounds broken. How do I come up with that? I mean,
actually, we're very close. Our CEO, Amnon Schelfeld, got on a train ride in the UK, and he heard a funny sound from the wheels, and soon enough, the train stopped. So he said, must have been a way to capture that sound and process it so they can use it as yet another sensor
like
on the train.
Like a diagnostic, yeah, to
exactly.
find it.
So that's how the idea came up.
Okay, so how exactly does the product work? You know, of course, without giving away all your secrets.
Sure. So it's basically it's a microphone that is connected to a machine, and just collect data all the way to ultrasonic levels, 5 times more than a person can hear.
Wow.
Process that data into mechanical data, and then analyze it on the cloud to find those anomalies.
All right, now I understand that in order to achieve this amazing technology, you've partnered with Oracle as the startup program organization. Now, tell me a little bit about that. You know, why did you partner with Oracle?
So Oracle started a startup acceleration program here in Israel, headed by Noam Inbar. And they're actually helping us to put ourselves in front of the top executives, both at Oracle and their clients. So it's really helping us to expedite the process and go to market.
So how has that already translated? You know, where are you already available, or where will this product be available?
So product is available. We actually have paying customers in Israel and in Europe, and we're expanding now. So we can get started with any company tomorrow morning.
Amazing. All right. Well, Asaf Eldad, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, for many Jewish couples who married at the time of the Holocaust, their wedding day may have been lacking in festivities, but all that was lacking was certainly made up for it with love. Well, now the city of Holon here in Israel is helping to take those ceremonies a step further and has just given 18 couples made of Holocaust survivors the shindig of a lifetime, all with a massive wedding renewal ceremony. These are the beaming faces of the couples who just danced the night away in Holon's first ever wedding vow renewal ceremony. 18 Jewish couples have just gotten happily ever after married a second time after 50+ years of marriage following the horrific aftermath of the Holocaust. For many of them, their first weddings were meager affairs in those years following World War II, when the Jewish community was in ruins and most European Jews were struggling to make ends meet. One groom recalled returning to his home country after surviving Auschwitz, not finding a single family member, but ultimately seeing his future wife for the first time. Another couple remembered having less than 20 people at their small ceremony and only enough money for a movie and a falafel as a honeymoon. It may have taken over half a century, but now, here in Israel, the brides and grooms are finally enjoying the wedding they always dreamed of. Just like the real-life Wonder Woman that she is, Israel's Hollywood superstar Gal Gadot is taking a stand against sexual assault, and she's putting her own career on the line to do it. LTV's Emmanuel Kadosh is here now with more details. Emmanuel?
Yes, we've learned that Gadot has just refused to sign on to star in Wonder Woman 2 unless Warner Brothers cuts all ties with one of the film's producers, who has been accused multiple times of sexual assault. She's taking a stand and showing girls all around the world what it means to stand up for what you believe in. I'll fill you in more in my report. Israeli beauty Gal Gadot skyrocketed to world fame as the star of this summer's biggest blockbuster, Wonder Woman, a film that broke records and redefined girl power both behind and in front of the camera. Needless to say, the sequel got a guaranteed green light. But now Gadot is using her Hollywood sway for a cause, and Hollywood insiders are saying she's refusing to sign on for Wonder Woman 2 until the studio removes producer Brett Ratner from the project. Ratner's Rat Pack company partially financed and produced the first Wonder Woman, but now that victim stories have emerged against Ratner, Gadot is standing behind her principles. Clearly, she believes that a movie about women's empowerment made by women shouldn't have any ties with a man suspected of horrendous sexual misconduct against them. I have to say, I'm extremely proud, not just because the Wonder Woman star is from the Holy Land, but because she's becoming a role model for young girls around the world, teaching them to stand up for what they believe in.
Enroll in eTeacher's online Hebrew courses and quickly discover that it creates the deepest connection to Israel that you could ever imagine. And now for our Hebrew word of the day. When several couples of Holocaust survivors come together to renew their vows, you know that's something special. Well, since that's exactly what happened recently, then in honor of those couples, our word today is lechadesh, meaning to renew. There are lots of reasons lechadesh, or to renew something. Coming from the word chadash, simply meaning new, maybe you have to lechadesh your driver's license or your prescription for your glasses. Or maybe you just need to lechadesh or refresh the web page that you're on in your browser when the internet cuts out. Whatever the reason, getting something to feel like new is always a satisfying feeling, probably especially when you renew or mechadesh something as amazing as your 70-plus-year-old wedding vows. So mazal tov to all the happy couples, and may all of your days feel chadash or new from now on. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the weather forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a rise in temperatures and a low of 72 or 22 degrees Celsius. You can expect an additional rise in temperatures tomorrow with a high of 84 or 29 degrees Celsius. All right, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.52 shekels to the American dollar. Remember to sign up for our daily newsletter at iltv.tv. I'm Aaron Porras, and thank you for watching.